Well, greetings, Boise State fans. Happy Thursday here at BroncoNationNews.com, Bronco Nation News Live. We do this pretty much every morning around 9 a.m., where we talk Boise State athletics with different members of the media and our friends here at Bronco Nation News. And it's Thursday, so that means even though Tiger Woods is about to tee off, we pulled Mike Prater away from Masters Live app. Mike Prater, KTIK Radio, Idaho Press sports columnist, with us for Thursdays with Prater. How's it going, man?
I could skip Tiger's first two holes just to hang out with you on a Thursday, BJ. So let's do this.
I don't pay you enough for that, man. If you would have, you had the excuse about the dentist. I wasn't sure how true that was when you were trying to get out of it yesterday, but you are here and we appreciate it. What a day, man. You got the Masters starting. You got opening day today for baseball. Me as a longtime Cardinals fan, I got it. Where is it? Oh, right here, Mike. I got to be honest, for the first time in 11 years, I pulled this out of the closet today. The Albert Pujols is back on the Cardinals, man. I had
nice.
Literally had that in my closet for 11 years or 10 or whatever it's been since he's been gone. I found it the other day. So
nice.
Pretty cool for me. But opening day, the Masters, you had the national championship a couple days ago. I mean, for a sports fan, early April, in particular this week, though, this is as good as it gets.
And don't forget the big Boise State teams. We can't wait for the big news too, BJ. So all kinds of crazy stuff happening today. So it's April's a great sports month. This is a great sports week. And we got a lot of Boise State football to talk about as well.
And the spring game on Saturday, obviously, is a big one as well. And, waiting for that announcement, 2 o'clock, I believe. And so looking forward to talking about that. I know 3 to 6, you and Johnny will be all over that today on 95.3 FM. You can listen on their app, the KTIK app, KTIK.com as well. And, Boise State put out about a 30-second teaser video last night, Mike, that there's an announcement coming today, and that's basically all we can say about it at this point. So listen to their show this afternoon, and then me and Jay will talk about it on our show tomorrow morning.
I'm willing to break the news. I mean, I got the scoop this morning. I mean, they're just waiting for the concrete to dry and the bronze to get figured out. But it's a Kellen Moore statue, right?
We've heard some of the, it wouldn't surprise me. We've seen we've seen that they're switching to Adidas or Under Armour. We've seen the baseballs coming back. We've seen they're moving to the AAC. We've seen all kinds of different things out there. So Andy Hill is asking, any idea what Boise State is announcing today? Yes, I do. We both have ideas, but we're not allowed to say anything until 2 o'clock. So we're not trying to be coy, but it was kind of we will have to find out at 2 o'clock is all we can say. And we'll have, again, Prater and Johnny will have plenty of reactions at 3 o'clock on 95.3 on Prater in the ball game. So be ready for that. But the spring game is coming up, Mike, on Saturday. And let's start there. We got a chance yesterday to talk to Andy Avalos, talk to Hank Bachmeier, and watch some practice. And they're getting ready for the spring game on Saturday. And obviously the year 2 of the Andy Avalos era. So we'll get into Andy Avalos and his year 2 in a little bit, but just in general, the spring game on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. It's free for fans. What's just your, interest level, excitement, thoughts on Saturday's spring game?
Well, when it comes to the spring game, it's more methodical for guys like you and me, or especially for me. I like to just go out and target 3 or 4 different guys and see what they do. There seems to be a lot of attention on Austin Bolton, whether he can make this transition from no catches to being a contributing member of the wide receiver room. You certainly want to see some of the backup quarterbacks. After seeing Sam Bidlack in practice the last couple of weeks, I'm excited to see if he gets any kind of reps, the backup, maybe even third string quarterback. But I'm really intrigued by his arm. He's a little dude, but he's got a big arm, and I'm excited to see that. Maybe see a little Taylor Green, although we've seen him before in the spring situation, and he's come through. So just you go in with your list of names and people you want to keep an eye on, and I like the middle of the defense and see what's going on there and what kind of rotation they have with the depth, because I'm really concerned about the depth at linebacker. But I'm excited for Saturday's spring game. It should be fairly decent weather. It's the first time in, almost 20 years that they haven't charged. It's free. Back in the day, it was always free. I remember doing this show several years ago when Dan Hawkins wanted to raise the price from $0 to $5. We did the whole show for a week. The fans were outraged. $5 for a spring game. Are you kidding me? Well, it's free again this Saturday. Should be a decent weather. Lots of storylines. I can't wait for spring game.
Yeah, they tried having that concert one year after the game, and it rained the whole time, and they've tried some different things. But, it's free this year. 3:30 p.m. is the start time, and then I think after the game, fans are going to be welcomed down on the blue. So we're getting back to a little sense of normalcy here in terms of moving past, because even last year's spring game was socially distanced because of COVID, and then the year before that, I don't think they had one.
Yep.
It should be hopefully we're talking about opening day and the Masters and the spring game. Hopefully we're continuing to move a little more, into the second year of the fan, as you would say, Mike, a little more back to normal here.
Yeah, my Cincinnati Reds will be eliminated by Saturday, so all focus will be on Boise State spring football.
I like the Cardinals for one reason this year. They get 20 games each against the Reds, Pirates, and whoever else. It is interesting.
Nice, be nice to me this season.
My wife actually is going to opening day, and she chimed in with a comment here somewhere. There she is. Happy opening day. My wife's actually in St. Louis, and I'm jealous that she gets to go. But let's hear from Andy Avalos. You and I both asked him a question about the spring game and what he's looking forward to seeing and hope to accomplish on Saturday.
Yeah, so there's always something on the line. There's competition. So the winners are going to get to put a nice knife into a steak and have a nice meal. The losers, they don't exactly have to eat a hot dog, but it will not be a steak. It will be a hamburger. Either way, everyone's going to eat good for working hard this spring. What we want to see the most is guys compete on Saturday. Guys build off of the first two scrimmages. From the standpoint of really being able to lock in with a certain consistency and compete and do their job.
How is this year's spring different than last year's?
The competition's way different. The way the guys are competing and they're leading it. It's there's a certain standard that is understood now on how we're going to operate every single day, not just on the practice field, but in the meeting rooms. How attentive they are in the meeting rooms, how they're taking notes, how they're learning, the extra time they're putting in, and how they're having fun doing it and working together is way different than it was last year.
What are your expectations for Saturday? What are you specifically going to try to accomplish?
To build off of the things that we learned from the first two scrimmages. We want to see it go back and forth. It needs to go back and forth between offense and defense. But how players have the confidence to handle the pre-snap, their assignments, their responsibilities, how they communicate together, how they respond from a play that maybe didn't go well, how they respond from a play that did go well and keep that momentum going and see them be able to put it together throughout all the situations that are going to pop up in the scrimmage. And Joel can hit those situations with you guys because he is the commissioner of the scrimmage and he decides what the winners get to eat and all those things. So he's got a list of the scoring system and the rules that will be put into place and a little bit of the situational stuff that will be implemented into the scrimmage to ensure that we hit certain things. And it's a little bit funner too. We'll play a game called Lockout in the red zone that you guys will get to see that we'll put in the second quarter of the scrimmage.
Well, there's Andy Avalos, and talk about the different scoring. It's pretty much a traditional scoring. The defense can get points for sacks and takeaways and things like that, Mike. But there's been years where they haven't had enough players. I've been out there where they couldn't even do a regular type scrimmage because they didn't have enough players, and they did have a lot of guys injured going into spring ball. But I guess it's nice to hear that it's going to be a traditional offense versus defense. And yeah, there was one year Brian Harsin did it where the losing team, I think it was one of the Brett Rippon years, the losing team got hot dogs and the winning team got a steak dinner. So he said, we're not going to go that drastic. Everybody deserves a nice meal for working hard this spring. But he did say a nice knife into a steak. So I don't know if it's the nice steak or the nice knife that you get from it. But there is a little bit on the line on Saturday.
I'm glad you noticed that because I did too. And at one point he was a little. I don't know if he was really friendly yesterday or a little testy, but a little bit of both. I guess he's got his game face on. But I was going to ask him. I said, so when you say steak, when you say a nice knife into a steak, are we talking like a petite sirloin? Or are we talking a ribeye here? So I wanted to get specific with him because the cut of steak does matter, especially for these kids, but we did not go there. I also think that it's, yesterday, and I noticed that when he answers, and I'm getting off track here, when he answers your questions, he looks you in the eye, and it's almost so intense and so awkward. At one point yesterday, I felt like we were dating. It was that close. When was the last time Brian Harsin, and I'm not trying to knock on Brian Harsin because I like Brian Harsin, but when was the last time Brian Harsin ever looked you in the eye? So it's kind of appreciative that he does it, and he kind of locks in, and you can feel his intensity. And I know he's going to be fired up for Saturday. He said the competition word yesterday about 10 times. And that's pretty natural for a coach, but he's really, really, really pushing this competition thing. And I think we're going to see a lot of rotations, a lot of different players, a lot of depth getting in there and getting chances to play some football on Saturday. He's pushing competition hard, BJ.
And at least for me, and I think for you too. I mean, once at press conference, he calls you by name, which I don't know if Brian Harsin ever even said my name once in 9 years. But so he does give you the respect at least to say that he's talking to you directly, and it seems a little more personable than just speaking into a microphone. And he was a little testy at times yesterday with a question about Hank Bachmeier, and then misunderstood a question about Austin Bolt, a harmless question about him trying to morph and evolve into a football player and not just an athlete. But then he came back over and talked to us later in practice and was like, hey, here's some guys you should write about. Here's some guys that are doing well. So it was a nice session there. We actually got to, because he was talking to us, we actually got to stay an extra like 5 minutes and watch one of the periods we weren't supposed to watch yesterday. So that was an interesting time with Andy Avalos yesterday.
It was different. It was definitely different. And we've all got to hang out with him and interview him for the last 15 months. But yesterday was a little bit different, and I'm not sure why. And I did appreciate that extra time. And certainly, again, Brian Harsin never stuck around for another 5-10 minutes and just BS'd with us, pointed out players. This guy's doing well. I mean, he even threw out some, that guy's kind of banged up. So, some basic general injury information that's not going to impact anything in the season. So it was pretty harmless information, but he was sharing it, and it was kind of fun. It was kind of nice. And we certainly appreciate that with access to that kind of for the media.
In terms of the offense versus defense, and again, the scoring is obviously done kind of weird, but usually early in camp, whether it be fall camp or spring ball, the defense starts out on top, and then the offense gets it going. We'll see a healthy George Holani out there. We'll see, but he did say he's not playing a lot in the scrimmages because there's no need to have him be tackled on Saturday and hurt his knee or something going into the summer. So I think we'll see a lot of Ashton Genty and some of, Tyler Crow will probably get a lot of reps and some of those guys. Steph Cobbs, the receivers. Well, I know a lot of the O linemen are banged up, but just in general, offense versus defense. What are you expecting to see in terms of the competition here?
Well, I definitely want to see Ashton Genty. I can't wait to see this guy, a true freshman, thick. He looks like he's already a sophomore or junior. He's not the tallest guy in the world, but he's thick and he's explosive. We heard Andy Avalos talking yesterday about one explosive run play in practice, or maybe it was a previous scrimmage against his defense, which he says doesn't give up explosive run plays. And Genty had a 65-yard run. So let's see if he can blow off some. And also there's some points built in for the explosive plays on Saturday. I'm looking for explosive plays against the defense, and I'd be okay with that because I think this defense is going to be fine. I do want to see the offense have some explosive plays, whether that's a deep ball to Static, whether that's a deep ball to Austin Bolt, whether that's Genty doing his thing. Look for explosive plays. They've built in a scoring system for that. It's a point of emphasis. And the lockout series that they're going to do in the second period, a complete and total emphasis on the red zone, which was a struggle last year. I like the fact that they incorporated in it. They even have this gimmicky scoring system for that lockout. If you're going to be paying attention to the gimmicky scoring on Saturday, just pay attention to that part and what they do and what they accomplish during this quote-unquote red zone period in the second period.
Yeah, good luck to Bob keeping track of the score. Luckily, they'll have it up there on the screen. But, the lockout period is you start at the 15-yard line going in, and you got 4 plays. So 4 plays to either get a touchdown or a field goal from the 15-yard line, not the 10. So they kind of split the red zone a little or give you 5 extra yards on the red zone there. And I don't know if you caught this or not, but he was talking about the offensive line, and he said something about a 65-yard explosive run. So I kind of followed up, well, who had the 65-yard run? And he didn't want to say it first, and then he looked over and said Ashton. So Ashton to have a 65-yard run during one of their previous scrimmages is certainly and we actually talked to him about this later, but just there's going to be plenty of hype on Ashton Genty going into the season, and I'm sure he's going to get some after that spring game because, as I said, I doubt George Holani gets a big workload on Saturday. You're going to see Ashton probably get a lot of action, so I'll be curious to see there and a lot of things to the spring game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. And again, 3:30 is the start time. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, yeah, the one guy that I wanted to point out, you mentioned the offensive line. Keep an eye on number 71, Cade Beresford. He's targeted to be the starting right tackle. We really haven't seen him yet. He's a big, tall, thick dude. My partner, Johnny Ballgame, yesterday called him Paul Bunyan. I think that's a beautiful description of Cade Beresford. And it looks like it's going to be Ojukwu on the left side at the tackle and Cade Beresford making his debut on the right side with a lot of returning experience. So the inside part of the offensive line and Ojukwu on the left side is all beat up, like you said, but keep an eye on 71. I think he's going to be one of your offensive line rock stars when September comes here. I think he's good. I think he's solid. I think he's mature. I think he's got a smart, big, tough body. I think he checks a lot of boxes, and I'm really looking forward to number 71 on the offensive line tomorrow at right tackle.
Hey, United Commercial Insurance, if you're looking to start your own business or if you already have your own business, give them a call. They can try to help you get better rates. You may think you have good business insurance rates, but one quick call, one quick visit to UnitedCommercialInsurance.com could change that for you. 229-8222. It's a local company here, big BSU supporters, but they can write policies in 44 states across the country. So any kind of liability or business insurance, workers' comp, let them take care of it for you. United Commercial Insurance, transportation compliance service as well. well. If you're looking to get into the trucking industry, you may think that's a weird thought, but if you're looking for a fresh start, a new career change, it's a booming industry right now. Great pay, great benefits. TCS can help you with all the permits you need and all the steps to get you out there towing that first load as quick as possible. So again, a local company, but it's a national company. They're based here in Meridian. So check them out, TransComService.com. And don't forget, if you're looking for a new dentist, Boise Dentistry Co. My kid's on the screen there. Our whole family has made the switch to Dr. Chris Meinert. And it's a fun time talking Boise State sports when you're in there getting your teeth worked on. So go check out Dr. Meinert and his staff, Boise Dentistry Co. If you're looking for a new dentist or one closer to you if you moved or something. So BoiseDentistryCo.com is the spot to go there for that. Okay, I guess we'll stick with Andy Avalos. I want to get to Hank Bachmeier too, but we've been talking Avalos, playing clips from him.
Yep.
Year two for Andy Avalos. The first year obviously wasn't the year that many wanted, expected, hoped for. I mean, a tough schedule played into that. Some injuries played into that. But certainly Mike 7-5 wasn't the debut that Andy Avalos wanted in year one. We're going to hear from him in a minute, but it sounds like a Mike Prater column is coming, by the way, with some of the line of questions. It wouldn't shock me to see an Andy Avalos column show up in the Idaho Press. But what's your just take on what we're seeing and the outlook for Andy Avalos and expectations going into year two?
Well, certainly the expectations are less than 5 losses. Let's just start right there, because the bottom line here is you can't have back-to-back 5-loss seasons around here. That's going to put him on the hot seat in year 3. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but that's a fact. If he loses 5 games again, year number 3, he'll be sitting his butt on a hot seat. So I don't expect that to happen. This roster is too good. I think he's rallied this roster and he's rallied this football team based on what happened last year. And I think, I do love to write about coaches. I like to write about Leon Rice and how they handled their business. I like to write about Andy Avalos and how he grows as a head football coach. I think he spent a lot of time last year building a culture, building a foundation, and building family love. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. But this is football, and you have to build a business, and you have to build a little bit more, intensity in there. And he has always built that, but I think he needs to emphasize that. So it seems like to me he's more business-like this year. He's pushing more things. He's a little bit more curt maybe with the media because he's a little bit more intense. I like it. It doesn't always have to be kumbaya. Let's all love our brothers and sisters. You can still have that, especially if you lay that foundation in the first year. But I sense a little bit more urgency, a little bit more intensity. And this roster, I'm really, really loving this roster right now. If they get beat up or dinged, I think there's some depth in some nice places. And I think there's some elite talent. Jeremiah Dickey always talks about elite. I think there's some elite talent on this football team. And, maybe 5 pro guys, 10 pro guys, somewhere between 5 and 10 pro guys. BJ, next year on Pro Day, keep your schedule busy or keep your schedule light because there's going to be a lot of people on Pro Day.
We are live on the Bronco Nation News social media channels. We're also live today on the KTIK social media channels as well, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube for both KTIK and Bronco Nation News, with Mike Prater being here on a Thursday. We've got some comments coming in, Mike, on the YouTube channel here. Kurt's wondering if Bob's doing a play-by-play. Yes, there is. I believe even an hour pregame show, I believe, and then the game is on at 3:30. So there is a radio broadcast. Dayton's asking if there's a TV broadcast. There is not. I don't think Boise State is planning to stream that. Andy Hill asking the same question. Will it be streamed or recorded for those of us out of town? Don't think so. I'm sure you'll get some highlights from myself, from KTVB, from some of the other outlets around town, but no video broadcast. You got to listen to Bob on the radio there. We just mentioned this earlier, but no charge. Also, the spring game is free. But
yep. And instant post-game analysis from Ballgame and myself. We'll do an hour-long pregame show, Bronco Game Night. So right there on KBOI radio as well. So we'll get you some instant analysis for a whole hour right after the spring game.
Okay, let's hear from Andy Avalos talking about year 1 to year 2.
What's been different for you this year?
The same. Well, number one, there's a standard put in place, and everybody's leading it now. Being a year through it and understanding and knowing what that looks like and what that is, it's been fun to see other people lead, for the players to lead it, and really to be able to see the players that have taken a huge step from last year to this year, and even the veteran players. For them, it's the 2 inches here, the 2 inches there, because they're so experienced. But it's fun to even see those guys. Obviously, the younger guys that just came into the program or 2 years into the program, they've taken tremendous strides as well.
How much of that is their being accountable, and how much of it is you being more of an emphasis, more of a business-like approach?
It's probably a combination that them understanding what it looks like and what it needs to be every day, and to come out here and still have fun and handle the work that needs to get done a certain way, the way it's always been done.
Talk a lot about players and how they've grown from year one to year two. How have you grown as a head coach from year one to year two?
Well, that we can talk about that all day. There's so many different areas, and then within the levels in each area. But at the end of the day, keeping it simple, the most important things are motivation, organization, and creating a certain mentality that's built through real confidence, and focusing on those things and building that into our environment, into our team, and doing the very best job I can every single day has been my purpose. Helping players learn, helping coaches with anything that we can. And we're really grateful because the coaches we have are extremely experienced and detailed, and I think the players see that, they recognize that, and they put that back in to what the coaches are doing.
Well, there's Andy Avalos talking about, his kind of evolution and moving into year two. Perry saying we saw glimpses of what the team could be last year. Sounds like they have grown by leaps and bounds. And, I guess this is the annual reminder, Mike, to not put too much into, a spring game, whether it be the offense, the defense. They're not running anything. They're even having an extra practice on Monday so they can run some of the quote-unquote secret plays. They don't want to be on tape for Oregon State. But, it's going to be a pretty basic offense, pretty basic defense. A lot of key guys are out hurt. But I think there is a lot of excitement, building off what the basketball team did. And now, with an easier schedule, I think for the football team a little bit, you do start, a tough one at Oregon State, but I think the path is there to maybe get off to like a 4-0 start, or at least a 3-1 start. And I think that there is a lot of excitement about this team moving forward. And I think a lot of people are expecting year two of Andy Avalos to go much better.
It has to, because of what you just said, the schedule. They have a 4-year starting quarterback. They've done a nice job of plugging in some holes on dependable depth. And I think that, back to what we were talking about earlier, just the sense of urgency of being motivated. Andy Avalos just used that word, being motivated. If coming off a 5-loss season in Boise, Idaho is not motivating enough for these football players, nothing will get them fired up. So I think that there is something good. There is good news coming out of spring camp in terms of, yes, they went into spring camp with a lot of injuries. I think a lot of that was proactive and just trying to take care of some bodies. As far as I know, BJ, unless you know of anything, they had 0 injuries happen during spring ball. That's not happened around here an awful lot. There's always been one big injury here or a couple of bang-ups here, and I'm sure there's some beat-up bodies, but for the most part, Boise State came out of spring ball very, very healthy. They should start this season 100% healthy, no issues whatsoever. Let's go to Corvallis and take care of some business.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and certainly I think that again the basketball team's excitement only kind of raised the expectations and the hope going into the offseason for the football team. And Saturday, no doubt should be a lot of fun. Hey, if you're going to the spring game Saturday, the Blue and Orange store, go in there, Boise Town Square Mall. You can get your new gear. If it's gonna be a little chilly, grab that sweatshirt, all the new Nike gear. You can go online and order theblueandorangestore.com. All their selection, their daily deals are online. If you can't make it in to the mall, but if you are in the Boise area, just head to the Boise Town Square Mall, the Blue and Orange store right there. And Ridley's Family Markets, shop ridleys.com as well. I frequent the Cuno location often. They got the at-home shopping, the Skip app, all the home delivery, all the great stuff. So if you're thinking, heading to the grocery store, they got 13 Idaho locations. There's one near you, and think local, think Ridley's Family Markets. And Mike, another plug for the golf tournament as well. That's coming up on June 3rd. We have some tee time still left. We have had 2 groups already, believe it or not, request to play with Mike Prater. So we're going to have to figure out how to make that work. I don't know if we want to have a rock, paper, scissors match at the first tee or what we want to do, but Mike Prater is I can say with 100% honesty, we've had people request people, but you're the only one that's had multiple people request you so far. So
I like that. Let's keep pumping that, DJ. Let's have a raffle, and let's whoever brings the most goodies in their golf bag wins. I like to hang out with those guys.
I just don't know if this is more for what they are expecting you to bring on the golf course, or more your hot takes and stories, or what. What do you bring more to the table here?
The ability to laugh at my golf swing. That's probably what they want to do. That's, they've seen my golf swing and they just want to show up and laugh at it in person.
Well, it is. It says save the date, but it is open now. Just go to BroncoNationNews.com, BroncoNationNews.com, and there's a golf tournament tab up at the top of the toolbar there. You can also email me, Rains@BroncoNationNews.com. Get more information. We're donating some money to the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. We're going to donate some money to support the family of Rick Worthington. We got some great causes that we're going to help out here and have some fun times as well. We got Coach Leon Rice is going to come out and be our celebrity shot on a par 3, so you can meet Coach Rice, make a donation to charity, have him take a tee shot for you. We can get a group picture of you on the tee box and meet the Mountain West Coach of the Year. We got some other basketball coaches. We got golf coaches coming out, Kalen Downs, Dan Potter. It's going to be a lot of fun, and Mike and Jay Tust, and we'll be out there. You guys are going to do the show out there that day, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. And again, limited foursomes and whole sponsorships remain, so check it out, BroncoNationNews.com. Final 3 minutes.
Can I make a request to play with Coach Rice? I'm sure he would appreciate that.
Oh, that would be. I think we could sell tickets for that, just to come out and watch Mikey guys up, and we could make the largest donation to charity in history if we had a chance to have you guys play 18 holes together. That would be that'd be fun.
For every slow growth comment I make, we could donate $100 to a local charity, right?
I could just see you, like, topping one or hitting it 30 yards, and Leon says it's slow growth towards the hole or something, as it's taken. Yes, there'd be some good trash talking back and forth there. That would certainly be fun. So appreciate KTIK for helping be involved in that, and looking forward to having you guys out there and having you out there as well. And it should be a lot of fun. So we got 3 minutes left, Mike. I want to hit on Hank Bachmeier real quick. We talked to him, and let's just hear one quick bite. Hank Bachmeier going into year 4 as a starter here.
No, I just think, like I said, I got to be dialed every single play, and it's still something that I'm working on. Pre-snap, you can be dialed. Post-snap, making sure you're making the right decisions through your progressions, getting rid of the ball on time. It's been a big thing for me, and just that consistency every single day. You can't play well for 3 quarters or every single drive, and it's got to be every single play, and that's something that I've just been trying to work on, day in and day out. It's got to be routine. You got to have a process every single day.
And there was more to it, but we're running out of time here. But the consistency part, that's kind of been following him for he'll have a great game and then be leading him on a great comeback, and then have a inexplicable interception like at the UCF game or some of these games. And he's had the one throw, and so he's talking about just being more consistent from start to finish. I think staying healthy is a big key as well, Mike. And he played a lot of last season with a knee injury. The guy is certainly tough, but in terms of trying to get out of bounds and not take some of those hits. And there's a lot on his plate, obviously, as he's talking about with this new offense. But just in general, Mike, in 60 seconds, what's your take on year 4 of Hank Bachmeier as a starter? And I know we joked about it last week or talked about it last week, but in your column listing, potential 10 guys for pro day next year for NFL players on his roster, you didn't have Hank Bachmeier on the list.
I didn't, and I still don't think he's a pro prospect at this point. He could potentially play himself into one. He doesn't have the body size. He doesn't have a superpower. Let's see what he can do. I like the slow growth process that Hank Bachmeier's done with his career, but I need to see more. Yesterday on Idaho Sports Talk, we talked about 2 barriers for him. One, beyond the consistency, because he's 100% right. You got to be consistent. Last year, he threw 20 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. I need to see 30 and less than 8 this year. And he's always hovered right around 61, 62, 63% in terms of a passer. I need to see 65 plus. I need to see a big jump there. That's more of the consistency in terms of completing more passes, increasing your touchdowns, eliminating a couple of those nasty interceptions. If Hank Bachmeier can do that, he can play like a true 4th-year starter. He may even come back as a 5th-year starter. I cannot wait to see how this plays out, BJ.
I was going to ask you in one word or less, are we having the same discussion next year about Hank Bachmeier?
I think we are.
Wow. That would be something if Hank Bachmeier comes back for a 5th year, the COVID year. Wow. Well, again, Dakota's asking about the big announcement. A lot of great guesses out there. We'll find out 2 o'clock today is what it sounds like, or this afternoon. And Mike, you'll have full coverage 3 o'clock today with the breaking news, breaking it down, whatever Boise State announces, 3 o'clock on 95.3 FM, 1350 AM, the KTIK app, KTIK.com. You and Johnny and JP will be all over it. So appreciate your time today, Mike. Tiger Woods, apparently, according to reports, a 10-footer for par. He drained it center of the cup on hole 1, so he's off and rolling with a par, and we'll let you get back to watching that, folks. Appreciate it, Mike, and we'll be listening today, 3 o'clock, man.
And we'll see you tomorrow, 4 o'clock on Idaho Sports Talk. We'll go over some more of that Boise State news. Can't wait, BJ.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Mike. He's Mike Prater. I'm BJ Rains. This is Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com.